Sakto, pero
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Det där är Horror Podcast.
Brought to you by Big Baby Studios.
Hello and welcome to our podcast. My name is Chris Costello. I'm your resident horror fanatic, and I'm also one of your hosts. I am joined by two other co-hosts. First off is the very talented, very hilarious horror fan, Aaron Cristobal.
Hello.
And secondly is the devastatingly handsome, self-proclaimed scaredy cat, Miguel Nascianceno.
Hello.
Great. So let's get to today's show. Today we're quite lucky to have the multi-hyphenate writer, director, musician, and current head of Globe Studios, Mr. Quark Henares.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on the show, Quark.
Thank you. I'm sure you're so busy. Thank you for taking the time to join us.
What has been keeping you busy?
I had a gig tonight, and then I have a DJ set in
the living room.
Nice.
So all in one night, had dinner with a friend in a restaurant. Crazy.
Sarap.
Going to Baler after this,
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. When will that ever happen again?
I know.
Not anytime soon, my friend. Sadly, not anytime soon.
This is why people podcast. All right.
Exactly. All these new podcasts suddenly came out because
everyone has a fucking podcast because everyone's stuck indoors.
First 2 minutes, check the explicit.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Explicit.
Just so you know. Upload when you upload.
Awesome. Okay. So what we're going to do, just for a quick background, is what we want to do each week is we have someone come on and talk about a horror film that they like, and we just talk about it freeform, and we will get to the horror film that you chose today, Quark. But first, we'd like a super duper quick background on your relationship with the horror genre. How did you get into it? Was it something that developed over time, or was it something like you saw a movie that really stuck with you and that's what it is, or whatever it is? What's your origin story of your horror genre origin story? Go ahead.
You know what? I'm not sure actually. And I don't know if I would count myself as a horror fan, because I tend to, I avoid yung mga especially the franchise stuff. I've only seen pretty much the first of Saw or Conjuring or whatever, and then I don't really. I'm not that kind of. I'm not like Mick na parang every time I horror anything, it's already there in the theater. So I don't know if I could count myself as a horror fan talaga. But I don't, and I also don't remember. I love darker stuff as a kid, so even like Beetlejuice or even the comedies. But I can't remember na parang if I. Seeing the one that turned me. Definitely like Eraserhead fucked me up. But I don't know if you can count that as horror also. When I was 11 years old, my dad showed me Eraserhead. And if you guys have seen it, it's really messed up. Diba? And it's really dark and surreal.
Yeah.
But and then I remember being into B horror when I was 10 or 9 or I watched all of the Critters and I watched all of Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Yeah. But then again, I'm not sure if you would count that as
no,
horror.
That's absolutely counted. Yeah. Absolutely counted. Yeah.
Diba? So and then I guess when you become a film fan, you immediately fall in love with the horror classics like Exorcist or The Shining. So Shining is still my favorite horror film of all time. And then I think parang it's always kind of been there. And and we can talk about this later also when we talk about the film, but when horror is good, it's really good, right? Like when it's exceptional talaga. But a lot of the time, kasi I feel parang desensitized na tayo sa horror. So there. But definitely also as a filmmaker, I do consider myself sometimes a horror filmmaker. Like Wag Kang Lilingon is still a film that I'm proud of, and I don't shun it like super noity or something.
You know, I must say, 50% of that movie was incredible.
What does that mean?
Because Quark did 50% of the movie.
That is true.
So,
Someone else did the other 50%. That's why.
no, but Johnny Lopez Neneng is a great guy, and it's just really different. He's just really different types of horror. But I mean, but and if you look like Johnny Lopez Neneng's horror was kind of like the 80s.
Yeah.
The Pinoy horror.
I actually said that to be snarky, but I actually also enjoyed his part, to be honest.
So but and it was a Ricky Lee script. That's probably the only time I'll ever work in my life with.
I'm not cutting it out, no. Like I'm just keeping that part.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, go lang.
Actually, because there's a very thin line between thrillers and horrors. A lot of people consider Silence of the Lambs a horror film, straight up horror, not just a thriller horror. So I think that there's a very that line blurs a lot, and I think because for you, knowing you throughout all these years, you really do have a love for the darker films like Seven, anything by Fincher, films like Silence of the Lambs, and I think all of that exactly. Mulholland Drive is a horror, basically. You know what I mean? Or at least at the very least has a lot of horror elements. So I think that's actually also one of the things that we kind of want to do with this pod is really demystify the horror genre, because there's a big stigma between about horror. It's not for everyone, but actually, I mean, it's actually very accessible, and it's in a lot of mediums or films or stuff that you watch actually that you don't even realize. You know?
Parang ano siya, it's and I wanted to talk about that also today. Parang like I'm very particular when I call something horror. Like for me, horror is it's supernatural, diba?
Okay.
And it's really meant to scare. So I don't really count Alien as horror, and I don't count, but I'm not saying they're not great, diba? And I don't count Silence of the Lambs. But a lot of people say, well, one of the best horror films, yung Silence of the Lambs. But because they don't have that, because tao yung kalaban.
Right.
It happens to be a monster, pero tao pa rin yan.
Or even siya, science, my science basis. So
if there's an explanation,
I mean, A Quiet Place, which for all sakes and purposes is a horror film. Hindi ko siya kinakount kasi aliens siya.
So, what's the name of the movie? Sorry,
A Quiet Place.
Quiet Place.
Yeah, with Krasinski.
So ayun, like and which is why I think this particular film is special.
So you wouldn't count slasher films as horror, even if they're being shown on Halloween and stuff.
So ganito pa ako kainal. Halloween 1 is not. Kasi kasi tao si Michael Myers.
Right.
Pero nung bumalik siya, hindi pala siya tao lang.
So,
may special powers. Horror na yung Halloween 2.
Okay.
So Scream is not horror.
Scream is not.
It's not.
Not for me.
Wow,
Again,
that's okay.
I don't even know why anyone should listen to. But I guess that's my way of like compartmentalizing if I would get scared.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
it's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, like how about you? What do you guys think?
I think all of that is horror.
I've never heard your guys' horror origin stories. Miguel and Aaron. How about you guys? Your origins.
Me first? Okay.
Go for it.
Do it.
Ladies first.
My family has always been into horror movies. So even when I was a kid, they'd bring me to... the first horror movie I ever saw was It, the 1990 whatever movie. And that freaked me out, especially the scene where Beverly had the blood in the sink. That's why I was a little disappointed with how they portrayed it in the new one, because it wasn't as creepy. They just really, blood. It wasn't as creepy as the first. But I remember getting so scared, but still making paper boats. Like an idiot, right? Like, I know I'm going to get caught. I want to make some paper boats. So, I think it was my trigger. Yeah. I really, really enjoyed that.
So did you like, because I remember you liked It it?
I did.
But did you
This
like it
new one.
too?
I didn't see it because Cloud told me, just don't. Because you're going to
that's what
get
everyone's
really
been saying.
disappointed. I haven't.
Greatly
but I haven't.
disappointed in it.
I haven't seen it. But it's such a good cast. What the hell?
Yeah, it's
Oo
fantastic.
nga di ba? May Bill Hader pa. Parang what?
I know. Sayang.
Yeah.
How about you, Miguel?
Right. So I was just trying to Google something up. Like, I think my first horror film that super left an imprint in my mind was the first Pet Cemetery in 89. Was it 89? 90?
Yeah.
I remember watching it with my cousins, Holy Week, and super layered the experience because I had an uncle getting mad at us for watching a horror film during, like, when Christ was dead. And then Pet Cemetery was really freaky, dude. Like, as a young, what was I, like 89? So I was like 10.
Yeah,
Parang, like, I think I couldn't sleep. And we were watching it during the daytime. But I think dun palang na-establish now, oh, fuck, I am a scaredy cat when it comes to horror films. But like what you said, I'm the resident scaredy cat. And I'm not the first person in line to watch a horror film. But all my experiences with watching a horror film or a scary movie have been memorable. So it's pretty cool, yeah.
So do you get scared with yung mga mga serial killer ones, like yung mga Texas Chainsaw or?
So whenever we bring up a movie we're gonna talk about in this pod, I'm gonna have to watch it pa. Kasi there's a big chance I haven't seen it.
Or Halloween. Have you seen Halloween?
We're going to catch you up.
I think I remember seeing Halloween as the one with Jamie Lee Curtis, was it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, as a very young, but I haven't seen it again or the sequels afterwards. But I know Aliens isn't horror, but I don't remember seeing either as a whole. So
Okay.
that's how big that gap is in my
Awesome.
head. Yeah.
Cool.
And then you're pero pareho kayong Stephen King babies. Are you all? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I know you're a Stephen King baby.
Oh my God,
Chris,
that's
but-
right.
All right.
I just realized that.
Yeah.
So it's super cool.
Yeah, that guy's really, when you think about it, like, that guy influenced a lot of what we've seen in movies, no? Stephen King.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Even if you're a Shawshank Redemption bro, Stephen King din yun, di ba?
Are you also, was Stephen King your turning point?
No,
Chris? Chris.
I have a really fucked up horror origin story, to be honest with you. Because I grew up in Cagayan. I don't know if you guys had it here in Manila, but for a long time, there was the whole double feature thing.
Yeah.
Did you guys have that in theaters? The
When I
double
was-
feature?
Parang
Not in our
I've
lifetime.
heard about it.
We had it in Cagayan. It was huge, up all the way till I think late grade school. But when I was young, really fucking young, our parents took us to Who Framed Roger Rabbit because it was like a cartoon. We thought it was a cartoon
Yeah.
and everything. And then it was fun. It was fun. And then the second movie was Aliens.
Ang ganda nung
Oh my
Parent.
God! Like, you just talk to my sister. I swear it scarred her for life. Like,
Maggie.
for
Maggie?
life. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Scarred
she
for
was like
life.
7.
Yeah, dude. It was something else. So it was an eye-opening experience for me. Movies
But
could
you
be
were
like
with your
this.
parents and they were fine with us?
Yeah, well, there was a lot of like cover your eyes and they thought it was like a drama or whatever.
Ang ganda.
Aliens,
Yeah,
foreigners.
fucking aliens.
Good.
Very nice. It's fantastic. Quark, what is the horror film that you chose for us to discuss today, and why did you select this title?
He's gonna show us. He's
No,
gonna
no,
show
no.
us.
I'm just getting something to drink.
Kala ko may reveal.
Sorry.
Diba?
I'm like,
This is the movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it is showing. Can you see it on the TV?
Oh yeah, there it is.
Oh, hey.
I was watching it when parang pass your papers. Whether it's finished or not finished, but not finished. No, it follows. It follows is the movie I chose.
Fantastic. Why did you choose It Follows?
So yeah, David Robert Mitchell, 2014, 2015. I think it came out in Cannes.
2014. Yeah.
Yeah. But why did I choose that? Number one, I wanted to. I knew you guys were gonna be like the co-hosts. I was trying to think of a movie that you hadn't seen. So you guys hadn't seen it, no?
I
have not.
You had
mean,
already.
I watched it for this
Okay.
podcast. Yeah.
So yeah, that was number one. Number two, I've really been wanting to watch it, rewatch it ever since. I'd only seen it once. But I really wanted to rewatch it, and my wife is a duwag.
Did she at least start it with you?
Huh?
Did she
No,
start it
she
with
didn't.
you? No, not even. Okay.
Yeah. Because she has a third eye, so parang it gets
Wag na lang.
That's fun.
so parang it opens a whole lot of things. And then I wanted to. I think it's an important film. I think it's an important film, and I think it's an underrated film. And I think there's a lot to unpack with It Follows. Parang
Awesome. And I can't wait to unpack it with you guys. But
Yeah.
for the uninitiated, Aaron, can you tell us what It Follows is about?
The real thing
No,
or
your
Give
one
us a-
sentence pitch.
Your,
my one sentence.
your one sentence pitch for It Follows.
It's like The Ring, but with fucking.
Ang ganda na.
That's pretty much it.
right?
Yeah.
That's it.
Because it's an
They
STD
die.
curse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See?
Who wants
But maybe-
who wants
but
to
maybe
get
we should
into
add to
this
that.
first?
I'll
We should.
add to it. So, okay.
Please.
So the plot is there's this girl, Jay, who goes on a date with this guy, Hugh. And then the date goes so well, but we notice that Hugh is a little weird. He sees people that aren't there and the date goes well. So they do it. They have sex. And then he chloroforms her. And then suddenly she's in a wheelchair in this big parking lot. And the guy's telling her, it's following me and I passed it to you. So now you're going to see it and it's going to try to kill you. So you have to have sex with someone else so that it goes to that other person.
But
And
he
the
says
whole
something.
movie,
I'm sorry.
what did he say?
No, he says something like, "But don't worry, it's slow." So yeah,
It's slow. Yeah. It's slow,
It's
but
slow.
it's not stupid.
it's not
That's-
exactly.
Yeah.
So
Sorry,
he
go on.
gives her all this advice and she goes on this chase because she doesn't want to pass it to anyone. And basically it's a thing that takes the form of any human, including your loved ones, to mess with
Yeah.
you. So it's very scary. There's a lot of nudity. Yes.
but not sexy at all.
Not sexy. Not sexy.
Yeah.
Yeah. For anyone hearing this for the
Unless
first
you're
time,
into
no.
I think tinanong ko pa yun eh. May sex ba to? Si Aaron, meron yan. Meron.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
not the kind you want to see.
Yung pilit, just because you have to pass it. No
Unless into
enjoyment.
unless into mature honeys.
And incest pa siya. So,
Yes.
Meron.
There is incest.
So all the sex you don't really wanna get
Exactly.
into.
No.
The least arousing film.
Yeah, like this is
Absolutely
horrible.
not.
makate,
So
in short.
so the film starts off with this girl and she was given this sex curse, this STD curse or whatever. What are the rules of this in this horror universe?
What are the rules?
All right.
You can't have the thing touch you. You can't touch you. Although parang there was no consequence naman.
In fact, they don't even show how it kills you, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Well,
like-
they show,
Well, no,
hand
the mom.
prints or
The mom.
The mom and the son,
the mom.
Yeah.
her vagina sucked his life.
yeah. Again,
what?
this is not the kind of film where the sex is actually fun to watch.
Yeah.
Did you hear that
That's
sentence?
literally the
The
last-
mom sucked the life out of her son
Let's
her
steer
vagina.
this
through her
podcast
vagina.
Yeah.
into light, please.
So basically, the rules of the sex ghost rules, right, are basically if it's a curse that's passed on through sexual intercourse, and to get rid of this curse, you have to pass it on to someone else.
Yes.
And if you don't do that, or if that whole chain breaks,
It comes back to you.
it comes back to you. It goes down the line all the way back and starts killing, whoever started it.
Yeah.
It goes
To be
backward
fair-
down the line. Basically,
to be fair,
those
the
are
me-
the rules.
Yeah. And to be fair, the mechanics aren't super clear. Like, there are many possible plot holes or whatever. But this
Yeah.
isn't the sort of movie that you watch naman because you're into like spotting plot holes. It's pretty cool.
Right.
I super
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So first off, I'm gonna ask Miguel first.
Yo.
How does it work as a horror film? Is it scary for you as someone who's not a horror film?
All right. First of all, yes, very scary. I had to watch it during lunchtime, noon, and with breaks. Like I take a break, I'd watch. like an episode of Community, and then I made sure the lights were on and the windows were open, and then also I'd watch with the volume a bit low, which is a bit sayang because the score is really good.
It's a fantastic score.
Fantastic.
Too. So I really enjoyed it. I appreciated the fact that I'm a photographer, so visuals play a big part. I super love the wide shots. And then you're parang, even as a viewer, you're like looking behind the character speaking, wondering if there's somebody creeping up behind them. And you know, in some shots, there's like a guy walking, enter frame, and just comes toward them. It's not, you know, it's the opposite of surprise.
Yeah,
which
it's
actually,
this prevailing sense of dread throughout the whole movie.
That's what it is,
you know the rules that someone will be following you. So yes, you have your eye on every part of the frame. You're like, is that extra in the background walking towards us? So is this going to be a reveal? Or, you know, so this gives you this sense of paranoia throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
And galing nga, even in that scene where it wasn't a monster, but the dude was getting praning. Like, do you see her? You could see when the girl was walking palang, you already know na praning na siya. That's not a fucking, she's not walking towards them. She was so jarring.
Yeah. Jeff, the worst character. See Jeff, what a douchebag.
Yeah.
What a douchebag talaga.
Super. And then I also appreciated Nerd, but the photography, like,
absolutely.
It had that you couldn't place it. Like, medyo it felt a bit vintage, but not necessarily. And then so I dug up information on the movie, and I think one of the main inspirations for the cinematographer. Hold on, I'll pull up his name. The cinematographer is si Mike Giolakis. But his main influence for this film is Gregory Crewdson, who's actually a photographer I love. Parang Gregory Crewdson shoots a lot of parang weird suburban settings na setup. So bagay talaga yung influence na yun for this movie. I loved it.
Nice.
Awesome. Yeah, I really thought the cinematography was beautiful, especially the color grading. The way there's this prevailing theme in color of blue and red and white. It's all throughout the film. Well, not even blue, sorry. More like a cyan.
Yeah.
With the swimming pool and everything. Beautiful. Really, really gorgeous. I was going to say, Quark, as a director, I have something that I really don't understand about the film. And maybe you could help, I don't know, bring up an idea why. There are so many POV shots.
POV of Jay or POV
of the girl?
Of the girl.
Of her hands also.
Exactly.
A lot.
Exactly.
Oh, interesting.
So I've been racking my brain. Like, I have a few ideas, but I don't know. Maybe you have something.
Well, baka it was because you can't see it unless you're cursed, diba?
Yeah.
Or you were sexed.
Yeah.
So parang I guess to build that that suspense na parang is she saying something or is there kasi like but you know what? Actually, come to think of it now, like one of my favorite shots is the one in the school, yung paikot yung camera, and they're just going to class, then you see that lady walking towards
the old woman.
But they don't notice it.
Yeah. And they don't draw attention to it at all.
Yeah. Diba? And then she just gets the address of Jeff, and then she leaves. So, but I guess it's also to build that, diba? Na parang, is she seeing something? Because otherwise, if you're looking at it through Yara or the most pathetic character, Paul. Poor Paul. To their points of view, parang sometimes it's actually put in expert. It's done expertly. Like I think it was a sister who looks at Jay, and then biglang you just see the hair, diba?
Yeah. That was
at
amazing.
At the beach, that was a great scene.
Because then you're not looking through Jay's
her
point
eyes
of view.
Yeah.
So parang then you see what the fuck is going on. So I think that's probably it.
Yeah,
my guess.
Because it started out right. There's this scene in the pool where she has an ant on her hand, and she, from her POV, she fucking drowns the ant. You know what I mean? So I mean that could be foreshadowing towards the end, the climax at the pool. But also, there's a scene when she was talking to Hugh when they're sitting in a group where she's picking blades of grass from the ground, and she lines it up on her thigh.
Ang daming hands. So it's not just that. So you mentioned two. Another one is when she's telling Jeff na parang, oh, this is my life story after they just did it and she's playing with a flower.
Oh yeah. Right before, exactly. Right before.
And then he
he's
chloroforms her
knocked out.
and then it's her hand again.
Oh,
And when she's talking to the police, they focus on her hands.
Yeah.
while she's
Yeah,
talking to
there's
the police.
so many
it's a
POV
hand
shots.
thing.
Oh, nga, no?
It's like
Yeah.
it's like Quentin Tarantino's foot thing.
Foot, ano?
It's a hand thing.
I don't think it's a fetish.
No.
Yeah.
Like even like those blades of grass daw on that. Parang symbolism for like self-harming or whatever. I don't know what it is.
That's what I thought. I
That's
thought
what
it was
the internet
symbol.
says. Yeah.
Oh really? Because
mean,
it's on like four lines on her
Yeah.
leg, so it kind of looked like someone
Yeah, wounds,
cutting
no?
herself, or like
Yeah. Parang
like a
ganon.
metaphor for someone cutting herself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, where did you guys first see the film?
I saw it in the theater
In the Philippines?
in New York.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Ah.
I saw it
So you
online,
were,
yeah.
this is when you were, nung Coachella.
I was living there. Hindi. I think it came out in New York mga 2015.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Freaked me out.
And you liked it naman?
I did. Both Clau and I liked it. But it didn't give me nightmares. It's not one of
Yeah.
those things that you think about at night and then when your mom knocks, you go, no, it's not that.
Yeah, that's
And then
actually
Chris.
why this is actually why when I heard that this was the film you selected, Quark, I thought it would be a perfect film for Miguel because it's kind of a gateway. It's a gateway
Yeah.
drug
Entry level.
into horror. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's
Entry
not
level.
terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not terrifying, but
Hmm.
it shows you a lot of what the genre can do.
Yeah. It's not gonna
you
make
know-
me quit the pod.
Exactly.
Ayoko.
That's why I thought it was a perfect. I thought it was a perfect first choice.
Oh no.
Yeah. So yeah, I saw it in the theater also in LA. So I think kasama ko ata si either Jeff Cabal or Maria Mora, one of the two. But yeah, I mean it's so much nicer kasi sa theater, no? Because
Yeah,
you really get
I
to
can
see
imagine.
the face of the people far away. I mean, it really takes advantage of yung the cinema experience, and of course the sound.
Agreed.
So yun, I think the reason I chose this is ano kasi, 'di ba? If you look at horror in the 90s, 'di ba? 90s yung mga Scream, yung mga ano, 'di ba? I Know What You Did Last Summer, and then 2000s Asia owned horror, ba?
Yeah, absolutely.
Ring,
Yeah.
Ju-on.
Grudge.
Owned and dominated, and it hasn't been
Yeah.
Top.
since.
Asian horror.
Shutter.
Yeah.
Parang it's our home genre and like parang nobody's gonna take it away from us. Like,
Yeah.
And the Asian movies, they invade your personal space. They invade
Yeah.
your safe spaces. Ito
Yeah.
parang you can run
galing.
away pa. In
Yeah.
Asian movies, they're in your blanket, like,
Yeah.
Ring.
yeah.
Juon.
In your TV, di ba?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
Saka na
That's
the eye, no? I
for-
remember that elevator scene.
The eye.
Ay.
The eye. Oh my God. Yeah.
Siguro pag Asian
That
horror,
era of horror.
pass muna ako.
Kaya.
Have you seen The Eye or The Grudge or Juon?
Huh?
Miguel.
yeah. Nung naging fad talaga, yeah. I haven't seen the new one, yung Origins, but while that was happening towards the end of the 2000s and the early 2010s, diba, for lack of a better term, the Blumhouse horror, diba? That's yun yung uso sa
Yeah.
States.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
Diba?
What's that?
What
yung
is
mga
that?
Blumhouse
What is a
production
Blumhouse?
company.
Is a company. And so sa kanila yung Happy Death Day and Happy
Oh.
Death Day to You.
Which are very good horror films, by the way.
I like that.
Ayun, see, I haven't seen that because
I haven't.
I don't
They're
know why.
really good.
I just don't watch sa kanila yung Purge, which I haven't seen either actually.
Which is very good.
That's
Wow,
Conjuring, which I've seen. What's the one with the couple, and then they're like ghost hunters and
Oh, The Conjuring.
that's a Conjuring.
Yeah,
okay.
that's Conjuring.
Si
Yeah,
Annabelle?
And then so
Yeah.
what's the one na parang may parang Ghostbuster type na Blumhouse.
Oh, I know this.
Diba?
And then there's an old woman, like the Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
there's an old
yeah.
woman. Yeah, I know this. Wait.
Diba?
Yes.
Parang
They moved to a house. It was a big house, and it was a mom and a son.
yes.
It was mom and a son. A
And
pretty
then
mom. Who's the actress?
Yeah.
She's maganda.
I think it's oh my God. I'm
She's
old.
pretty. Pretty
Insidious?
mama.
No.
Insidious. Yeah.
It is.
It's a good
Oh.
one.
Who's
I
the
liked Insidious a lot for the first half, and then when it became like in his mind, in the mindscape, then it just kind of lost me.
Yeah. So,
But yeah, it's a good stuff.
no. By the way, my
Okay,
cat is
you're
in
talking
heat,
about-
so don't mind Rorschach when he's just like that. Yeah. So so that was pretty much yung landscape ng horror, diba? And then Europe was doing cool things. Europe was doing Wreck. They were doing Let the Right One In, and then they were doing Martyrs.
You know
diba?
what, Quark? For someone who says you're not a horror fan, you know a lot about horror.
Yeah.
Kasi I don't know any of that.
Asa naman.
Diba? Parang, kasi a lot of them are, and It Follows actually, which brings me to a weird point. I only found out today that It Follows was in Cannes. It premiered in Cannes.
Was what?
Which is
Was
a
it what?
weird
Is it
film.
Can?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. So,
Can nga rush.
diba? Weird. So you kind of had all of those. So I mean, whether fun or not, I like The Conjuring and everything. Medyo dumb talaga yung horror sa Hollywood, diba? Right at that time. And then diba? Everyone's heralding yung mga, or everyone's just like saying, the new masters of horror, diba? You have Hereditary and Midsommar, and you have The Witch and The Lighthouse.
I've seen all of those. Art.
Yeah. So but I think I would go so far as to say, It Follows was the first of that new wave.
I 100% agree with you.
Diba? Parang there was one that came before, and actually that director came out with a movie like similar to It Follows the same year. So the name of the director is Adam Wingard. He came out with a movie called You're Next. So that was a few years before that.
It's a masterpiece, by the way.
Which is a great film, super great. But mga tao ang kalaban. So
Yes. So it's not horror.
and for me, hindi yan horror. Home invasion. So, pero andun na yung like and what's interesting is I feel kabatch natin. Sorry, Aaron, I'm including you. But these are the filmmakers na kabatch natin. Na parang who kind of grew up in the 80s, who kind of grew up with the Stephen King stuff.
I'm
That's really cool
Aaron,
that you
just to note.
That's really cool that you brought that up, Quark, about Adam Wingard, because he actually did another thriller / horror film, pretty good, called The Guest.
Yes.
And it has all the elements of who what's his name?
Starring starring Dan Stevens, the Beast.
Dan Stevens.
Oh,
The Beast, yes.
But
also
it has all the
co-starring-
elements that you're talking about.
But who's the co-star of The Guest?
The girl, Micah Monroe, right?
Micah Monroe from It Follows.
Who's in It Follows. And it has
Michael
all the
Monroe.
aesthetics of
She has,
the 80s horror.
Oh.
It
Yeah.
has the synth pop. It has the lighting, the blue and the pink and the
pop.
Yeah.
Very
the
Stranger
sound.
Things,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
It has
So,
all of that actually.
Si Michael, they came out in the same year. Kala ko, si Michael Monroe, si diba? Si Poor Man's, si Poor Man's Greta Gerwig. So, so
God
parang,
damn. Okay.
but I remember, and then as a side note, I remember when I saw It Follows, I was like, ay putang ina, gagawa talaga ng horror film. Tapos, John Carpenter yung soundtrack, 80s. Oh my God,
Yeah.
it's gonna be the best. Ganon. And then Stranger Things fucking came out and ruined everything.
I'm telling you, there was a time where almost everything I was watching was 80s inspired. The lighting, the music.
Yeah.
There was Stranger Things. There was The Guest. There was It Follows. Like everything was synth pop. It was,
Yeah.
Even on
weird.
TV, diba? Parang a lot of shows would have an 80s episode or an 80s themed episode. So sorry, this lead actress, si Micah Monroe, does she ever become famous for other things or?
Not really.
Not too really. No.
Yeah.
But she was good, huh?
Yeah, she was in Independence Day. The sequel.
Oh,
Ang ganda na nun.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Parang sayang kasi ang galing niya. She's really
yeah,
good.
Yeah.
She's really good. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think it's cool though that they brought up the whole like the music and even the look kind of, because a lot of this is not really my original thought. I did a lot of reading afterwards, And they said that the director said that a lot of his choices were to make sure that the film did not look dated, meaning he would not give you an actual time period of when the movie was made.
Yeah.
That's why there are no references to like the phone. Do you see the phone that was showed in the film? It was so fucking weird. It was just the shell.
Parang clamshell.
There's a
Literally
clamshell phone. And then the stuff they were watching on TV, they're all like old
40s.
films.
Weird.
And old
Yeah.
TVs.
40s.
Old
Yeah,
TV
old
sets.
TVs.
Also.
Even the
He
cars
didn't
were
want to give a time frame for you to say, oh, this film exists in this time period. So I guess that's how it works. Like he got all these elements. He got 80s music. He got this fucking clamshell from God knows where phone. And then he got a TV show from the 40s just to create his own little universe. You know what I mean? So whenever you watch this film, you won't be like, this was made in the 80s. This was made in the 90s.
So diba, parang it's a director na it's artfully done, parang ganun.
Yeah.
Which we can't say about Insidious. We can't say about
Absolutely.
parang yung intention is not just to scare. Parang it's may
pretty.
cinematic. Yeah. Diba?
May cinematic
Absolutely.
ambitions. Yeah.
May use of mise-en-scène. Mga ganun. So ayun, and then that kind of just like the whole Ari Aster and everything that followed.
It's
That's why I
definitely
also
a
wanted.
predecessor. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to revisit this film because I mean it's obviously not as intellectual as The Witch or a movie that came out the year after, which was also which I feel is part of that collection is The Babadook, diba?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That was freaky.
Yeah, that was fucked up.
That's freaky.
So
Actually,
yeah.
what that's cool too. It's a nice segue to something else I want to talk about is that it is a horror film, but it uses a lot of horror tropes and then it turns them on its head. Like you up to the point where you won't even notice that he does a lot of the horror tropes. Number one, it's set in suburbia. A lot of horror films are set in suburbia. Scream, Get Out, Halloween. Actually, the street that she lives in looks like the street in the first Halloween movie. Nightmare on Elm Street is also set in suburbia. And there's also the trope of the slow-moving killer. Like, the stalking killer, Jason never runs at you. He's just walking slowly behind you. It just makes no sense. You know what I mean? So that's a horror trope, but or any slasher movie always. It's like you got the lead, the final girl running, and then she sees the guy like walking behind her and suddenly he's like right next to her, you know what I mean? So it's a trope. And also they've got even
the sex is bad. It's a trope, diba?
Yeah.
That if you have sex, you will be killed. That's an absolute trope. That's one of the biggest tropes. You've got the dorky kid who's in love with the lead girl. That's a trope. Poor Paul. You've also, I mean, they even did to a point where she saw the manifestation of the ghost, the peeing ghost. And when something terrifies you in a house, the trope is you run upstairs.
Yeah.
Right? And everyone's like, why? She did. You know what I mean? So he uses a lot of these tropes, but he changes it and makes it a little more, there's meaning behind it, or he's like mocking it or referencing it. That's why I really think why I thought that this was such a perfect film for Quark to choose is because we could discuss so many big things about the genre in general, because this film was obviously made by someone who is a fan of the genre, like a hardcore fan.
Yeah.
Not just an amazing director, but he is a fan of the genre and he takes the genre seriously. You know what I mean? Unlike what other directors would have done, I guess.
And diba? Like what Aaron said kanina, parang dude, like you want to watch It Follows? What's it about? It's about a ghost that follows you when you have sex. It's the most dumb fucking
It's ridiculous. Ridiculous concept.
So the fact that he was able to make it a great film where you actually felt for the characters, parang wow.
Yeah.
So
Tsaka parang isn't there also like a history of teenagers being the ones or the haunted or the hero? Parang sila parati yung subjects in a horror film more often.
Coming of age.
Coming of age siya, yeah.
Yep. And also the whole concept of the final girl. That's one of the biggest facets of the horror genre is having a final girl.
Which horror film started that final girl? Was it Carrie? No naman.
Halloween ata.
No. Well, spoiler, Carrie is not the final girl because Carrie dies in the end. Final girl is someone who survives
Carrie dies in the
everything.
end. Yeah.
Harry
Yeah.
dead.
Wait, diba?
Alright.
So someone leaves the roses and then the hand comes out. Whose hand is that?
That's
Is it the
just-
mom?
No, it's a dream. It's a dream. The girl wakes up in the hospital and she's like so
Okay, okay.
traumatized by the event.
I thought it was Carrie and her mom. I need to rewatch Carrie.
Yeah, Carrie kills her mom basically. The whole spoiler. Anyway, yeah. So yeah,
It's so
I think
old. I don't think
It's
people.
okay.
Yeah.
yeah, it's so
Alam
old.
na,
No
alam
one
na.
gives a shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, the final girl is a huge part of the horror genre because it's someone who goes through everything and comes out victorious at the end, or traumatized actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
So even Ripley
yeah,
is the
Halloween
alien.
is one of the first one. Yeah, Ripley, Halloween. Anyone see Sydney Bristow from Scream? Just
Jennifer
any-
Love.
Jennifer Love from I Know What You Did last summer.
Right.
Yeah, the final girl. So yeah.
What was the scariest
Actually, there are a
scene?
couple of horror movies literally titled Final Girls, and they're pretty good. Yeah.
I'll look for that.
So
What was the scariest scene?
Oh yeah, what was
Miguel,
the scariest scene?
for you, let's hear from you.
Wait, and it follows.
It follows.
Oh, wait, come back to me. Let me think about that.
How about you, Aaron?
Pasigaw ka ba sa theater, Aaron?
No, it's not a screamy movie. It's a like you're just there watch. I think the scariest part for me was that shot that was your favorite. Because they didn't draw attention to the walking person at all. When it's just going around the school and then you just see
Yeah.
the thing walking. That's freaky for me. More than drawing attention to the monster because you're like, is it the monster? It is the monster. So you're doubting yourself. And I find that pretty scary.
I did scream in the theater once.
Oh,
Ito yung when nung pumasok si Yara, si girl,
Yeah.
my
Behind her,
favorite
The
character.
tall man.
oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say
That's
that's
the
so
one.
scary. Yeah, that's the
Actually,
one.
yeah.
Kasi parang, what? Bakit may
Yeah.
tall?
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I changed my answer. Definitely.
That was gonna be my
Definitely.
answer also.
Oh my
That was
god.
fucking scary.
Yeah.
I don't know, I think the favorite character ko si Yara kasi parang, let's swim.
Yeah.
Like, whatever, guys. And then,
No.
ano,
Si Hannah, siya yung nabaril sa hood. Diba siya yung nabaril sa
Yeah,
leg?
she got shot.
She got shot. So,
so,
How about you, Quark?
no, that scene.
Yeah,
yeah,
well,
tall guy.
The way they made his
Shade.
face pa. Ooh,
Yeah.
that's a scary face.
So and now that we're on the topic of Yara, no, she was reading a book the entire movie.
Oh
Yeah.
really?
Yeah,
On her clamshell.
on her clamshell,
On
and
the
then
clam- and
she
it's the
recites
idiot.
from it.
Yeah.
It's the idiot. Yeah, I have
So
not
is
read the
there a
book.
meaning for that? Because I looked
Yeah.
it up. Because I know when Quark chooses a movie, you can't just enjoy it. You gotta pay attention.
You can't just enjoy
You
it.
can. So I really paid attention to everything. Okay? Everything. So when she was reading The
Quark chooses a
Idiot,
movie, you can't just enjoy it.
you gotta pay attention. You
You
gotta,
gotta pay attention. Right.
So yun.
Oh, sabagay, I was gonna say
looked it
Palm
up.
Springs, but
I watched it.
did you like it?
I
So great,
did.
right? So great.
But it's not horror. This one is
I
fun.
know, yeah. I would go back
So
to
I
horror.
did look up the synopsis of The Idiot, and it meant nothing to me in relation to the movie.
Yeah.
So I was like, what is this? What is this? Because there has to be a purpose. Why did they choose that book?
Ano yung
Yeah,
Albert
I
Camus
didn't
ba
get
yun?
it either.
Hindi.
Sorry, Quark.
Albert Camus ba yan? Who's the writer?
Dostoevsky.
Dostoevsky.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't. I looked it up also. I didn't get
Diba?
it. But apparently, it's one of the
No
things is
connection?
the lead. The lead is someone who is kind to a fault. Na parang is just always too kind, and shit happens to the person.
Aren't that's not.
Yeah,
the
diba?
problem.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And it also apparently talks about the inevitability of death.
maybe
Well-
that.
So that one,
Pwede.
because the metaphor of someone following you until you die, that could be like
Yeah.
it's a
Could
metaphor of
Maybe
Medyo
it's really
stretched,
just
though.
about Paul.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It's about all.
Do you think some directors? Do you think some directors put in these little things? Pero wala naman meaning, pero parang why they
Just
look
wanna
like
fuck with
intellectuals. Yeah, why they should have fuck with you. Like, parang, here, let's slip in the Iliad or something.
Yeah, diba?
Yeah, I'm sure meron yan.
May
Although si
mga
David
assholes.
Robert Mitchell, for sure, parang hindi.
Uh,
We will talk about his movie after. I don't know. After It Follows.
let's talk about it now.
Yeah, sige. So he made a movie After It Follows starring Andrew Garfield called Under the Silver Lake. It was bad. I know a lot of people liked it.
I haven't seen
again,
it.
premiered at Cannes. I think it premiered naman sa main Cannes, not
Wow,
the
this guy has connections.
Yeah, grabe. But yeah, see, it was like a weird, trying hard to be David Lynch kind of film.
Siyempre, masama yan sa'yo, Quark. Nobody can be a fucking trying hard, David.
And also, one of the most liked review on Letterboxd by David Ehrlich says, every generation needs its Southland Tales. And you know how much I hate Southland Tales. So para siyang trying to be a cult film. Not necessarily horror, pero may hobo, pero chock full of, like what you were saying earlier, Aaron, parang may yung graffiti, may meaning, yung mga ganon. Puro ganon. So I don't know if he's gonna have a good career, to be honest. Kasi parang feeling ko ginamit lang niya yung horror as a stepping stone. Maybe. Even though he was like really good at it, diba? So have any of you guys seen it, Under the Silver Lake?
No.
Okay. Lucky you. Watch the trailer. It's iba siya. And it's a different role for Andrew Garfield. Siya, stoner.
What year was this? 2016 or 15?
So 2 years ago, 2018.
Shit. So recent.
Yeah. So that's his film since. That's his only film since.
Interesting.
So again, I did the reading on this. So when I talk about it, I don't want to claim, that this is something I thought of. But when I did read up about this, I saw this is really, really interesting. And it kind of makes sense to me. I wanted to hear what you thought about it, all of you. So the simple reading of the film is that it's basically a sex curse, right? That's like, you watch it surface level. It's like you have sex with someone and the curse passes. So therefore, this is a metaphor for HIV or any other STI. But that would be the surface level reading. I did read this article though and when I read it, I was like, wow, that actually makes a lot of sense for me. And it kind of deepens my appreciation for the film. They're saying that it's really about sexual abuse. It's not about sexually transmitted diseases. It's about sexual abuse and the lack of consent. Because there's a recurring theme of the chain of the abused becoming abusers. Meaning someone fucked me, not just literally, and I'm going to fuck someone else because someone destroyed who I am, And so there are recurring themes of like betrayal of trust. Like at the start when CJ is like, again, when you mentioned Aaron, that she's like touching the flowers and talking about this ideal life, and the guy and Hugh is kissing her back, and then suddenly puts chloroform on her face as a betrayal of trust. Yeah. And basically what follows you is this stigma of being the victim of abuse that you cannot escape, no matter how far you run away from it, and it pushes you to the point where when family members or friends want to support you, you push them away and you want to deal with it yourself. And it also leads to you being self-destructive. Like the point where she
becomes an abuser.
No, where she actually goes and sees a group of guys partying and she's like, I'm going to have sex with all these guys. This is self-destructive behavior. You know what I mean? Yeah. So in the film, for the purpose of the film, it's like she's passing on the curse. But supposedly the deeper meaning is like it represents someone who's suddenly become self-destructive after going through all of this in her life. And for me, I was like, okay, yeah, that's a great reading until I saw the last point, which is the reveal of the monster.
What do you mean?
At the pool.
So I stopped nung nag-sexy mama read.
Okay. But you've seen it before.
I've seen it before, but so this is what I remember. Alam ko they tried to trap it in the pool and then it's her dad. Is that the monster?
There you go. Because it's a bearded guy and then everyone's asking her, what do you see?
And she wouldn't answer.
And she says, I don't want to tell you. And they cut to the monster, and it's a bearded guy throwing shit at her, and you have no context of like who this person is. And I did not realize that until I did the rewatch. And there are a number of in the
family
rewatch.
photos?
There are a number of family photos of a bearded man in her house.
So they don't say it pala in the film.
No,
No, I forgot. I didn't even know.
Yeah.
That is
So
interesting.
victim siya.
So the reading is it could be like she was abused by her father,
Okay.
and that's the horrifying part of it. Or the horrifying part of it is it's someone who has been perfect to you and is suddenly now being projected as a monster.
Yeah.
So like I thought it was such a great reading of the film, and I wanted to.
And you have
hear
to
what
think
you
about
guys
it
thought
also
of that.
because not Hugh,
Ah,
the guy,
sorry,
the other
not
guy,
you.
his
the
mom.
the neighbor, yeah. His mom naman.
That was his mom who killed
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, exactly. So that could be kind of like a parallel thing. Like you don't expect your family members to be the ones abusing you.
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
Actually, when you mentioned that, another thing that parang popped into my mind was in the end when they're just being followed and they just kind of have to live with it. An abuse
Exactly.
survivor, that's it. You just have to live with the fact na nandyan siya. It's always going to be in your past.
It's always
Behind
there,
you.
no matter how.
Always behind you. But always there. Galing mo,
Do you
Chris!
feel?
Chris!
Do you feel, Aaron? Do you feel different?
A little.
Yeah.
No, the end, right? Like, do you feel
Oo nga
different?
pala. Do you feel different? And then wala.
No,
Because
it's the same. No matter what you do, it's the same. You'll never.
that's so
man.
interesting.
Plus, there's also this recurring theme of water. Like water is there throughout the whole movie,
Yeah.
and water is so representative. Like wanting to wash
Cleanse.
yourself,
Right.
like cleanse you, like take away all the dirt and like start over.
And that was their major plan. Water.
Yeah, kill the monster in the water. Yeah.
This is so uplifting.
I know.
We should record earlier in the day.
Again, all of this I just read.
Yeah,
this is
it
not
makes
like
sense.
original
It's
thought. You know what I
galeng.
mean?
It's galeng. More than
It makes
STD. I'll
yeah.
accept this more.
I like
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
I like this reading more than STD
Diba?
being
Me
passed
too.
over.
Kasi parang when you think of that, also this monster was just herpes this entire time.
Right,
Why am I so
exactly. It's like,
scared
wow, what
of
a
chlamydia? You know,
What a stupid.
Meron ng
exactly.
antibiotics.
this though.
Yeah.
Do you think it would be problematic if it came out this year with all the woke conversation?
I don't think it would be problematic. I think it would engage conversation like in a good way, actually,
About consent and
and abuse because that's
and abuse.
a lot going on in Epstein and all that. Holy crap! Right? The world is so messed up. I think it'll start a good dialogue if it started this year. If it came out this year.
Yeah, nice.
Wow.
And I was looking at my top 10 of 2015, and this is number 9. This is in between.
Wow.
This is in between Revenant and Room. So
And what?
that's
And Room.
and
Okay.
Room, not the Room. Room ni
Brie,
Brie Larson.
Wow. Wow, 3 movies about consent.
That's
Oh.
right.
Oh.
Because The
Revenant?
Revenant, Leo gets raped by a bear.
Oh,
But
Pretty much.
I was like trying to remember how those 2 other films started, and I couldn't really remember I of course remember the bear scene or whatever certain scenes, but rewatching It Follows, like siguro the first 15 minutes up until she wakes up and she's tied up, I really remember everything that happened. So ang lakas ng the storytelling. Yun nga, that one shot lang in the beginning where you set up
the
that
one shot
mystery.
is like a 360 shot, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
His
And he does
choices
it a lot,
as a
diba?
director, as a director, Quark, they're so decisive. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. May purpose. May ambition niya.
Diba? And then
So galing.
yun nga, yung parang the girl running na naka-heels. It's in your mind. And then, yung nag-goodbye siya sa dad. Tapos jump cut to she's
cut.
dead in a really weird way.
yeah, her knee is fucking here. Like,
Yeah.
And then you don't realize what happens until later on. But for me, that scene where CU explains everything, ganda ng scene na yan. It's like a really fantastically shot scene because it's all exposition eh. Diba? And then usually the rule is that's the weakness of horror films, diba? When you have that lolo who's like, this is the curse. Kailangan mong kunin yung bago at yung diba? Doon bumabado yung film. But the way he it was so tense, it was so well shot.
And it was going
Nakakabit yung
up.
camera.
The exposition made it go up. Which is so interesting.
Talaga.
Tapos biglang hubad. What is this?
I know.
Shock.
And then high up si you no? Andun lang eh. Parang arm's length pa lang siya. See, it's over here. Like, what the fuck is going on? Why is he scared of that thing?
Veteran na si you veteran na siya.
Living on the edge, may wheelchair pa, diba? See? Okay, let's go.
I'm briefing you.
Siguro inisang-isa pa niya yung stairs. No? Parang up. Teka lang. Don't worry, it's walking. It won't get us.
It's slow, but it's not stupid. Ganun.
It's good.
So may pag lumipat ka ng bansa, para let's say you fly away. Like, how does it get to you? Like, I don't know. Dude.
Oo nga eh.
Yan yung mga plot holes.
It'll get there eventually.
Yeah, it'll get there eventually.
I know si Tarantino doesn't like the film, and I think somewhere online there are his reasons why.
Actually, no. He said he liked the film, but he did not like the fact that it broke all the rules that it set at the beginning. So parang in the universe, it set its rules, but it broke everything throughout the whole movie.
What do you mean?
He said,
I'm lost.
Yeah, what are
the rules of like
the mechanics?
who can see the ghost? The mechanics. Yeah, the mechanics. Like who can see the ghost? Is the ghost physical? Is it not?
No, I think that's what I mean. It's easy to punch holes in the plot talaga or in the mechanics.
Yeah, whether it's around a gunshot or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, kasi like parang you shoot it, but it becomes alive.
Exactly.
But in the end, they just drown it and they shoot it in the pool and it's supposedly it's done. So may mga lapses lang, but you don't really. It doesn't bring down the movie.
Yeah.
It's still
So Quark, as a director, does this work? I'm gonna ask you two things. Does it work? Number one, as a horror film, and number two, does it work as a film in general? Or like, what are your opinions of it?
I think that's the reason I super love it also. Like it really works. It's more than a horror film, but it needs to work as a horror film for it to be a good film. Parang it's not like we were talking about the stuff that came out in the 2000s. So aside from all that European stuff and the Asian horror, there was this dramas that happened to be horrific, like yung mga the Others, for example, diba?
Oh shit! Okay, yeah. I know the genre. I know the
diba? Or we actually saw this together in New York.
Devil's Backbone.
Devil's Backbone, ayun. Diba? Or the remake of Dark Water with
Jennifer Connelly,
which they're all good dramas, but they don't necessarily work as horror films. Parang actually the Others does, but parang they're really more dramas than But this one had if you take away the horror aspect and just look at it as a drama, it won't work. But it's a good film because it's a really good horror film. I have a hard time explaining
exactly
that.
What you're saying. Yeah. No, so, I get exactly what you're saying.
Diba? So, which is the quality yun nga of all the stuff of that new wave that followed. Diba? Even Get Out, I think. I mean, it's scary actually. For all the comedy. And that's actually why Get Out might be my favorite horror film of the last decade.
Wow.
It worked really well as a horror. It worked really well as a comedy. And that's
and
never
social
happened.
Commentary.
Oh, and social commentary also. Yeah.
It's awesome. How about you guys, Aaron and Miguel? Let's go with Aaron first. What did you feel about it as a movie, as a film, not just a horror film?
Yeah.
I thought.
Well, you can answer both.
Right.
Yeah.
I do classify it as horror. It's really creepy. And I think it was just so well made also. It was so well made and so pretty that it's kind of hard to have nightmares about it. Because it's nice. Like what Walker Court was talking about, that exposition scene. I'm not a film person, but I was like, her face is lit so nicely. She looks wow, she looks good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's a nice visual, and even the touching of
Yeah.
the flowers and stuff like that. So but it's not I wouldn't give it a if I were to rate it as a movie, it would be a different rating as if you ask me like what's the scare factor. Because that's different.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like what's the scare factor of the movie or how's the
absolutely.
movie itself? So that's the
Okay.
So what's higher, your scare factor or your rating as a movie?
scare factor. Because I watch scary movies for the thrill of it. This one was good. I was creeped out. It was nice, but I didn't get the thrill I was looking for. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Now the $100 million question, Miguel. Was this a scary movie for you? And if not, or if so, what was it?
It's so easy to scare me naman. So yeah, this was freaky. Like I don't know if you've noticed it, but I've been checking my back this whole time. Tonight. Like since we've been talking about It Follows, parang I kept remembering scenes. Like parang I should have closed the door to the bathroom or like anyway. So it works, but also as a movie, like you could feel it reaching beyond its genre. Like it wasn't just out to scare you. It was also there to make you think a little more and look out for hidden meanings or whatever. Something like in other words, it existed beyond as a vehicle for scaring you. So parang na-appreciate ko naman yun. I appreciated the cinematography. I love that the cinematographer referenced one of my favorite photographers. Those things sell with me. So I liked it a lot. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, shit, I think that's a perfect way to wrap this up.
Yeah.
I guess the general consensus is you guys all enjoyed it.
Yep. Super.
Yeah,
As long as I can watch stuff with sunlight, I'm fine.
Oh my god, I still have to finish it after this.
Yeah.
But thank you for choosing this, Quark.
Yeah.
It was a great
Very
choice.
good film to pick out. Yeah.
I was also researching for the listeners, of course, na parang where can they catch it, no? And apparently the way you can watch this film is through iFlix, Chris.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So
there you go.
on iFlix. So Chris and I both work on iFlix together.
Ganda.
So,
Okay.
ayun.
Well,
Catch It Follows if you
perfect.
haven't seen it.
thank you again, Quark.
Yeah, thanks
this
so
was-
much.
I really feel that this was a fantastic film for you to select.
Yeah.
Thank you. This was a great discussion. I had so much fun.
Yeah, I know. It's so nice, just hanging out.
I know.
I'm learning
We can do this
from you
again.
guys. I'm learning. Blumhouse.
I hope you
what?
come back later on, Quark.
Yeah, please.
Perfect choice of film. Perfect choice of guest.
Yes.
Thank you so
Perfection.
much for taking the time out of your day to talk to us, Quark. This is super fun. Hope we do this again.
Let us.
And yeah, let's wrap this up, guys.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Miss you guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Sardo little
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Brought to you by Big Baby Studios.